Name is Utkarsh and I'm back with a new topic of front office operation where we're gonna discuss about the various communication techniques used in the front office department of the hotel management sector. Now, first we need to understand what basically communication is. A communication is basically a procedure where we convey a message from one person to another. There are certain equipments which has been used in the telephone department, as you can see on the screen. One is PBX, other is EPBX, and then third is EPABX. Now, each and every equipments have their own different functions and requirements. Let's discuss about it. Now, first we'll talk about the EPABX. It is a kind of an old technique used in the front office operations or even in the previous timings of telephone exchange, where you can add on large number of extension at one time, and for each and every outgoing lines individual meters are provided. That means, for example, if I'll call to Bhopal and someone else is calling for Mumbai, we both are sitting in Indore. So I'll get charged differently and he'll gonna charge it differently. For the lodging purpose, all the STD, ISD or the local lodgings are available in terms of for the internal recruitments and internal auditings. The other facilities of EPABX is a guest can call from one room to another place. For example, let's say you need to go for a meeting and you are not sure about the meeting venue. So you can call your other persons by dialing as XYZ number directly from your room. For these kind of things, the hotel has their own extension cords. First of all, we need to press a particular number for on basis of that particular company or that particular telephone exchange board allows you to call to the other number. Then you need to dial that particular number and the call get directly connected to that particular place where you have called. The charges will be posted directly onto your bill. There are various registers being used in order to calculate the total expenditures done on the telephones. For example, departmental wise summary, fax activity report, operator control sheet, wake up call registers, telephone registers. As the name suggests, the department wise summary is basically a computerized printout which has been taken at the end of the day by the telephone operator. This report shows the total usage of the telephones. आपने दिन भर में कितना टेलीफोन यूज किया है ये उस चीज की रिपोर्ट रहती है एंड ये बेसिकली फ्रंट ऑफिस मैनेजर को हैंड ओवर करी जाती है विद द रेफरेंस टू अ हायर अथॉरिटी ऑफ द होटल, जिसको हम लोग डिपार्टमेंट वाइज समरी बोलते हैं. ये डिपार्टमेंट वाइज समरी चारों या सभी डिपार्टमेंट्स जो कि अवेलेबल होते हैं होटल इंडस्ट्री में उसके बेसिस पर निकाली जाती है एंड दिस कैन बी given to the HOD of that particular department along with the senior authority whosoever is associated or allocated about this duty. Let's now talk about the operator control sheet. Now, all the outgoing calls and incoming calls are recorded in these sheets in order check the facilities of the hotel or of the guests. We have many a times we have heard that you got a ringtone, your phone is being recorded for the internal audit procedure. That means each and every call which is being coming to that particular hotel or which is going out of that particular hotel are being transferred by the operator, and these calls are recorded on an operator control sheet. After the ending of the shift, these operator control sheets are being checked by the assistant front office manager to keep a record of the all call transactions. Now we have a wake up call sheet or wake up call register. What basically the word wake up call means. For example, a guest is staying in the hotel in room number 204. The guest is leaving to his hometown tomorrow at 8 a.m. He needs to catch up a flight at 8:30. So, in that scenario, he needs to reach up to the airport at around 6:45, I believe. For that, he needs to wake up at around 5:30. So, before going to sleep, that particular guest will call upon to the reception or on to the that particular guest will call up on the reception and records his wake up call timing. That particular guest has asked the front desk associate or the receptionist to wake him up at morning 5:45. This particular entry will go under the wake up call register. Whenever the guest wants to wake up call to inform the front office assistant to give the wake up call, the front office assistant immediately note that particular room number, time, name of the guest in that particular wake up call. Now, the front desk assistant will write three major things. First, the name of the guest. Second, the time of the wake up call. And third, the room number of the guest. And on the basis of this, that particular front desk agent or the front desk assistant will give him a wake up call. This all process is known as wake up call situation or wake up, and this particular things are recorded in the wake up call registers. Then we'll talk about the telephone registers. Now, in order to get information about the calls, some hotels needs to record the telephone call logs, STD and ISD, both, which they need to write down on a manually basis, stating the number, the duration, the place of which the particular person has called, and to at what place he called up. The various other registers used in that particular front office departments are logbooks, complaint registers, handling over register, or the handover register. Now, let's discuss about these things. Logbook is basically the book used to forward the logs between the employees of the same department. Let's take an example. For example, I am doing a night shift of night 10 to morning 7, and the other person is relieving me at 7:15. Now, as per the rules, whatever has been happened during my shift or in the previous night needs to be updated and informed to the upcoming shift members. For this thing, I'll be using the logbook where I write each and every important minute details in that particular book so that the upcoming shift will know about what has happened in the previous timing and what he or she needs to be do. Complaint registers are basically a manual register which has been filled up by the guest. Especially these kind of registers are specially kept in the food and beverage outlets and sometime at the front desk as well, in order to take the feedback of that particular guest so that we can work upon our mistakes and we can also get to know what basically the guest needs from the hotel side. Now, we'll talk about the various types of calls used or gone through into the front office department. For example, there are local calls, calling card calls, third party calls, international calls, and toll free calls. There are sometimes, if you, for example, if you talk about the card calling, in terms of international guests, if you do not have an international SIM card in the phone, some of the international chain hotels gives you or allows you to call from that particular number which has been allocated to you for a certain duration of time, so that you can be in touch with your family members, your friends, and your beloved ones. These are the examples of the category of telephone calls done by the hotel staff or by the guest. The guests are then charged accordingly. Sometimes the internet services are also charged on these basis. For example, a direct dial long distance call could also create card calls. A person to person call could also be a collect call. A call could be an internet service provider, and international call could be a person to person credit card call. The local call. For example, I am staying in a particular hotel and I am calling to one of my friend in the same vicinity or in the same city. This comes up into the local calls. Now, each and every hotel has their own tariff structure for the callings. Some do charge for these calls and some do not charge on such calls, depending upon the category of the hotel, the service of the hotel, or the category of the rooms and the guests staying with the hotel or in that particular room. For example, a guest staying in a presidential suite may not be charged for the calls they made, but a person who's staying in the deluxe category of room may charge. But at the time of the check-in procedure, the front desk agents will update that particular guest about the various call charges, or if in case he finds it difficult, the guest may ask that particular front desk agent to attach or to connect the call to that particular given number, and that particular amount will directly be charged into the guest folios. Calling card calls. These calling cards have a specific code numbers. On the basis of that particular code number, the bills are being charged. Now, for these code numbers, first we need to scratch that particular card. We get a specific multi-digit personal identification PIN known as PIN. Now, we need to put that particular PIN in that particular phone, and then that particular PIN will allow us to call wherever we want to call. The toll-free calls are those calls where the guest can call either onto the local area or onto the local distance calls. For that particular call, there is a special 1-digit or 2-digit number. On pressing that particular digit number, the guest can dial his or her number or on which he or she wants to call again, and that particular amount, whatever the amount would be charged, would be added to its services and to its bill. There are certain telephone etiquettes which we need to keep in mind while attending the calls in the hospitality industry. The first rule is the telephone should be attended in 3 rings. The other thing is, for all the internal calls, we need to follow a certain set of lines. For example, Namaste. My name is Utkarsh. I'm calling from Malwa Institute of Hotel Management Indore. Over here, I have first greeted the guest, Namaste. Then I have used my college name and then my name. Some like others. As per the hotel property, we can use the different kind of wordings or different kind of sentences. Good morning. Welcome to Hotel Lalit. How can I help you? Or Namaste. Utkarsh at your service. How can I help you? These are the examples of attending that particular in-house calls. Now, the third etiquette is Always speak clearly and pleasantly. That means each and every word of yours should be clearly understandable to that particular guest or to that particular person whom you are talking on phone. Your pause should be very much polite and concise, and you should avoid the unnecessary usage of words. Your voice modulation should not be too much harsh. You should have a sweet and subtle tone. It should not be harsh in the ears of that particular. If in case you didn't understand any sort of request of the guest, please use word, for example, pardon me, sir. So it would be kind enough if you can repeat your request. While and etc. While writing a request, make sure that while making a request, make sure that you repeat and reconfirm the request so that it may not get delayed or wrongly written in your books or records. Now let's come up to the facts. It is an older method through which we used to transmit the document from one part to another. For example, I need to send a documentation to Delhi and I'm sitting in Mumbai. But if I'll use any kind of transportation services, will take around 2 days or 3 days on a normal note. But with the help of the fax machine, I can send that particular document in 2 to 3 minutes. For this particular fax service or fax machine service has been attached to a specific telephone, and that particular document is being kept into the fax machine. After keeping that particular document in the fax machine, we need to dial that particular number on which we need to send that particular fax. And once we'll dial that particular number, we just need to press enter or need to press the button of send. The fax will be sent across to that particular number on which the other fax machine is being added to. Once it has been reached, you'll get a number or you'll get a message on the fax machine. Your fax has been sent to XYZ number on which you have sent it across that particular fax to. Emails. Emails is basically a kind of an internet system used with the help of internet of sending your documentations from one point to another without getting in touch of that particular person or without meeting that particular person personally. These kind of system can be used both internally and externally as well. If I need to send a document or in any kind of email or information to one of my colleague working in the same organization but in the different department, I can use the emails, and this is the most fastest and most secured category of transmitting the information from one part to another. Reason is, first, it is the most convenient, most fast, and that particular email will stay in your sent emails for a longer duration of time. For this, we need 3 things. As you know, communication needs 3 things. 1, a receiver, other, a sender, and third, a message. And fourth, the mode of transmitting the message. So the sender is person A, the receiver is sender B or the person B. The message, what is being transmitted or what needs to be transmitted from person A to person B, and the mode of transmitting the message, that is email. These email are now being generated or can have various kinds of attachment no matter what, but there is a certain amount of size that particular email will allow to be attached as an attachment. For example, if I need to send a portable document format, or else a PDF, as you know, or any kind of Word document, or any kind of audio or any kind of visual in that particular attachment, I can attach that particular email. I can attach that particular document in that particular email. For this, I need to have just two things. First, a specific percentage or specific weight of that particular email attachment. We have a logo, pin logo attached on that particular email. We just need to click that particular pin logo, attach that particular file and leave. Or we can also go ahead with the drag and drop option in that particular message. We can convey a message in that particular body. Dear sir, please find the attached document for your reference. For example, I am sending the sales report of my company or of my department to my journal manager. So I need to have four things. First, the email journal manager's email ID. Second, the document which I need to send across. Third, the information which has been written onto the email body. Dear sir, greetings of the day. Please find attached the sales report of March 2020. As and when I'll write this particular data in the particular email, I can attach the sales report in the attachments, and once that particular attachment has been done, I can send it across to my journal manager for his reference. Thank you so much.